Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pentiment, where we have to write a letter to Mother Illuminata to ask her what the hell happened. That told me the last progress at Curacao knew something about the old history of Tassing. He said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna. Mother Illuminata? Yes, Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Small town in the Republic of Genoa, along the coast of the Ligurian Sea. Okay, Santa Maria, former librarian of Curacao, maybe. I think she might. Let's call her former librarian. Yeah, let's call her former librarian. She was very into books. She might like that. This is Madeleine Druckerin. I do not believe we ever met. He was very young when he left Curacao. We were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before the terrible fire consumed the place. I am writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rat House. It's going to tell the history of our community and Curacao as well. We have only legends and folklore, since, of course, all of Curaçao's books were destroyed in the fire. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the abbey itself, he would also be glad to hear of it. He would also be glad to hear of it. We would appreciate any help you could give us, and we hope you are well. Father always spoke highly of you. Father always spoke highly, especially how you care for the library and its books. Piety and intellect. Would she be flattered or no? Spoke highly of how you take care of the library and his books and its books. God bless you, Magdalene. If I want to finish tomorrow before Christmas, I should start planning tomorrow. I should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Sure, go to sleep. That is a long ass animation. It's been a while. Mr. Suckern, I have a few letters here addressed to you. Guessing getting mail to Italy and getting it back. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Mother Illuminato wrote back to me. I hope her response helps me paint a mural. Mr. Strickland, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. I remember you both as your father would carry you between the rows of our library in its final years. I also remember your late mother and brother, God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discuss Stassing's past, it's likely they were as mythological as what your Naples believe. That said, I remember one of the peasants, Tillman Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. I know he died during the revolt, but perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. I should also say that it's not true that all of Kiersaul's books were destroyed by the fire. Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames, God rest his soul. In the aftermath of that terrible night, cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not at the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Gearsall, the murder of Baron Rothfugle. He had mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassiae, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. I had forgotten about it until now because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall that the late Father Matthias, was also reading a copy of Historia Tassiae shortly before he died. We never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. Perhaps Prior Ferric took it from the Baron after the murder. Ferric had an interest in books of all sorts, of course, but it seems like an odd thing to do at the moment. Then again, only God knows what he did and why he did it. Miklaus, something? The Baron's manservant believed it may have been stolen by the town thief Martin Bauer. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Finally, hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man has passed from this world, perhaps family knows where the book wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as Sacristan Prior Matthew, Sacristan, appointed official in monastery responsible for maintaining the sacristy, where vestments and objects used in ceremonies are kept, the sacristan is also often the treasurer. Learned a great deal about the subject. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know that he is now Archdeacon of Sion, a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. Sion became the capital of Valais when the canon joined the Swiss Confederacy, following the Swabian War in 1499. He is no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name, Faucigny So. If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before snow covers Valais. Canton of the Swiss Alps, Valais became an associate member of the Swiss Confederation in 1529. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend of the Abbey and is in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from Tassing. I pray that you have seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita. Well, I guess that works. That worked. Esther wrote to me as well. My dear Micah, my parents were glad to hear from your father. Please tell him that they wish to hear from him soon. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I've made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elijah, I'm guessing that's Elijah. Elijah has taken to making his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market. She sent him scrubbing the floors for it. It took him 3 days. I'm glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. Though really, if you don't plan to stay in Tassing, you ought to come sooner rather than later. There are plenty of beautiful young Christian men around town, printers and academics alike. Or maybe something else. You'd have your pick. Prague is a good city for me as well. Before the expulsion, there was a handsome man at synagogue, Simon, who caught my eye. His father is a merchant, and he's a doctor. He went to university in Padua. Can you believe it? I'd quite like to marry him if I can find him again. Anyway, I think you'd have even better luck than me. The boys would swoon at a beautiful blonde artist from the Alps. Please, keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come and see it when it's finished. Blessings. Esther. I have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home and check on Dad. Hey Dad, how are you feeling? Ah, Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I can bring up something light, like milk or broth. Oh no, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, field history. Mother Illuminati didn't know much about Tassin's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather told him any stories. Illuminati said he used to read about the Romans. Mother Illuminati, Magdalene. Mother Illuminati. Right, yes, Mother Illuminati. Young Kreutzer has mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found some interesting old ruin out in the fields, you might ask him about that. Bill Peters always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. I'm sure he has some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. I can hardly understand him. Think of that. Of course, Magda, it's nice to feel useful even if I'm stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods around town than anyone else. That and he's a known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the ruins. You may hear something worth your while, at any rate. I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use the books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever is left over from the Romans and before. The salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. I take after Miller. She was always thorough in her research. He always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, alright? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know why York doesn't keep them in line, always making trouble, those two. At least Artemis actually knows how to read. I don't think Apollo could even spell his name. The boy struggles with his letters, Magdalene. Don't shame him for it. Not everyone is a printer's daughter. Don't forget your other chores as well. You're running around town, alright? We still have a household to run. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. That's my girl. I better get going if I want to do all of that today. See you later, Dad. Good luck, Becklin. Okay. What shall we do first? Okay, I wonder if he hit the book. Yeah, talk to Martin Bauer about the Historietaceae. Well, talk to the guy who calls himself Martin Bauer. Hi, Vegeta. Macklin, how are you keeping? Eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. It certainly will be the pride in Tassing when you're through. You've always had your mother's talent for art. And how's your dad? You're one of the few people who've asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Your self disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you carrying that weight alone. I remember when my dad fell. We cared for him. Uh, we cared for him best we could, but those few months before he passed were a tough time for everyone. But I believe God will put your dad through whatever the doctor says we need him. Don't know what to do if he dies. I feel crazy even thinking about it. Should the worst come to pass, you will not be alone, my Glenn, believe me. It may feel like you are, but have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? He'd want me to keep up the printing press. Wouldn't that be a sight? Are you sure you could handle it? It's a lot to manage on your own. But you're a good girl, Magda. There are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I literally can't imagine who you'd be alluding to. There's not a single man of quality in this town. Not even in lots. He's about as subtle as his father. Rest on his soul. God rest on his soul. I miss him. He doesn't know what he wants. Sometimes I'm basically putting his own pants. That way, the way Eva hovers, who's to say she doesn't do it for him? It's the same with Otto and Eva. We all knew he was hers from the start. As Alt appears to be yours, Hen. But if nothing ever comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family. Kraft's a nice, hard-working boy. He's got a sharp mind he can provide for a family. Trying to set me up with your son. Can you blame me? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have you as a daughter. I don't mean to be rude, but I'd prefer to decide in my own time. Alright, I'll let it be like. You know, not every marriage may start off on solid footing. But if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. And sometimes your dipshit husband can die, and his doppelganger friend can come back and pretend to be him. Believe me. If it's not working out, how can you be sure a couple belongs together? God knows, he brings people together for a purpose. You don't need to understand it, only to have faith in Providence. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my head. Before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin's supposed to have stolen it from that baron who was killed years ago. Do you know what happened to it? Oh, I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble, but I still have it hidden in a drawer. Fantastic. Martin left behind when he ran off. Why'd you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get in any more trouble than he was already in. He never read it, though. I don't read well. Can I have it? I don't know. I need it for the mural. But won't everyone wonder where you get the ideas? I've been talking to people all over town. They'll think I'll get the ideas from them. Alright. I like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of different times. A stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home, perhaps it spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you are. Please don't tell anyone I had this. Ah, Historiotasia. Oh, and it's in Latin. I can understand a few words and phrases. I'll take a closer look in the evening. Ah, I knew Polyglot was going to be useful. Thank you, Brigitte. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigida. Until later. Howdy there. Definitely, Martin. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townfolk have whispered shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few quarrels? I'm an honest man. I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. I've pulled my weight around here, tilled the soil, salted the meats, provided for Vegeta and Kraft. I've done enough backbreaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a damn rest? Why are you always getting into fights anyway? Sometimes an asshole just needs to get his teeth pounded in. That do be true. Does beating the shit out of someone really solve a problem? Maybe. Don't want to solve problems, though. Don't have the patience anymore. Had enough. Just want what I'm owed. Right, I've lost enough time in this as it is. Time for you to go. See you later, Martin. Well, might not be Martin, but he is definitely a prick. Used to be the old widow's house. Voislav! God bless you, Magdalene. Voislav, how are you? Voislav and Matilda. Wait. Did they get married? Hello, Matilda. Hello, Voislav. How are you two? Very well. The Lord has blessed us more than we deserve. And how are you, Magdalene? I was worried with you keeping the house and the workshop on your own. All on your own. Let me bring by some soup for you and your father. That would love it. I've hardly had a moment to cook a hot meal. Between your father, the shop, and the mural, I'm surprised you're not that on your feet. He's very lucky to have such a devoted daughter. And before you worry about imposing, you're not. Taking care of our neighbors is how Tilda and I serve Tassing. Our vocation may have changed, but our gratitude to God and the town has not. It's hard to imagine you two ever lived in the Abbey. Sometimes those days feel like another lifetime. Harder time to be sure. Poor Clares, Order of Contemplative Nuns, founded by Saint Clare and Francis of Assisi. As the name suggests, the Poor Clares are devoted to extreme poverty. They subsist purely on the donation of alms. So, female Franciscans then. The Benedictines, anything like the Poor Clares? They live simple lives of devotion, but not that simple. I'm given to understand they don't make art in the convent now. Such a shame in that beautiful workshop. In any case, a nun's vows include dedication to a simple life, with all the challenges that entails. But I struggled. With my vows, my discipline, I couldn't live as my sisters did. I broke my vows, as did Voislav. My God, Matilda, was there no one else? Hey, come on. Voislav's... We all love Voislav, don't be mean. You fell in love. Yeah, we did. Well, I seduced her. Come on, Voislav. Don't. You certainly did not. Are you telling young Magda here that you seduced me then? Voislav, please. So you left the Abbey. Though no one learned of what we did, the matter ate at my heart. That and being falsely accused of murdering the old Baron terrified you, and rightly so. You almost account for our sins, Magdalene. I was afraid I would account for mine sooner than I thought. Those were the hardest years of my life. I repented and prayed to God to absolve me. But the Lord always provides even in the darkest days. The Abbey's destruction gave us a second chance. Must be strange to live that life after so long. Well, I admit it's been strange not being able to enter the convent. I miss the sisters terribly some days, but truthfully, it's been a relief not to be constrained by my vows. The Lord forgives more readily than me, Magdalene. Never, never think that you must remain in a place that causes you to sin, even if others think it godly. But I'm glad you two are finally able to live a life together. You both deserve it. Only by the grace of God are we in this life together. Maybe many more years before we part. God willing. Anyway, Magdalene, I'll send that soup over to you shortly. Thank you, Matilda. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless. Oh, so cute. So cute that they left the monastery to be together. It's adorable. Hey, Magda. Hello, Magdalene. How's the mural coming? Where you browbeat the council into letting you do it yourself? Took some work, but I convinced them to let me paint the Rathaus, yes. Well, it's good to see those stubborn bastards can be moved. God may have made man from dust, but I swear he left some of them with rocks for brains too. Did you know Jorg was by to check on my hinges? I've had about enough of their silly projects. That Zimmerman boy seems to have a good head on his shoulders, though. Once you settle down with him, you'll have a good life ahead of you. I think I'd rather marry for love, Hetty. Love comes in time, Magdalene. You'll see. Besides, that artist is a good boy. You could do worse. I could do better. But you were always going to forge another path, just like your mother. I have no use for this world beyond passing, but I wish you luck in it. Thanks, Hetty. I'll see you later. Till then. Hey, Magdalene. I heard what happened to your dad. How's he doing? Resting. He suffered a severe blow to the head. I'm worried to say the least. Hans sends his regards. The Bauer household is praying for a swift recovery. Thank you, and thank Hans and Yoda as well. I will. Klaus has always been such a bad road to passing. And I hate for him to die. It'll be a... I'm sorry. It's fine, it's fear as well. It's not best not to ignore one's fears. You miss your father, your real one, I mean. Do I miss him? Kind of. I don't remember Joseph all that much. He's become a haze of sorts. A faint echo of feeling and occasional emotion. I was so young when he got killed. Mom said that I had trouble understanding what happened for a long time. I understand. My mom, she is like an empty hole in my life. I have nothing of her. Ah yeah, you never even got to see her, right? Not even memory, huh? Suppose you have yourself for comparison. God modeled you after her. I can imagine how she could have been like, stubborn and unruly, yeah? But can I know if I'm actually like my mom? I have stories from people. Well, you read books, don't you? Stories are about things that are true. Books and stories are a lot about a lot of things. Well, I can't read anyway. Would you want to learn? I don't have the time. Work for the farm never ends, especially with taxes eating at us. Anyway, the winter draws closer, so I got a lot of preparations to take care of. I truly hope Klaus recovers soon. God look after you both. Until later, Simon. Hello there, Hans. Oh, Meglin. Hello, Hans. I hope your dad recovers quickly. He's a good man. Think I'll tell you who said that. Good. This town has seen too many terrible things, but we've recovered before. May the Lord will return your dad to health too. I pray you're right. Be glad to have this time with him. I say, well, I say, with I'd had as much with my Hedwig. Anyway, did you read something? Kraft hasn't bothered you again, has he? Or did you need something? Or gotten into some other trouble? No, he's been fine mostly. Good. That boy's a thorn in my boot. He's lazy, arrogant, doesn't care for his family. He'll bring shame to the Bauer name one day. I avoid sticking my nose in people's affairs, but Martin... Anyway, didn't mean to complain. Till later, Meglin. Until then. Okay, can we go inside the house? Nope. Okay, let's go over to the gardeners, but that is going to have to be next episode. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, I have been Pope. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of the things that make the algorithm happy. I will see you all next time.